Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's Jean Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, and for sharing this with your friends. It's a very, very interesting time. Looking around the world in these days, you see whole governments stepping down. You see Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the UK stepping down, and a lot of the cabinet stepping down. You see mass protests around the world, Central Europe, everywhere. Things are really heating up. We also saw on July 5th this biggest experiment at CERN yet. And interestingly enough, just one day later on July 6th at 4 a.m. in the morning local time, the Georgia Guidestones were vandalized. But more than vandalized, there was an explosion that destroyed one of the stones. And it's, the Guidestones have been called the American Stonehenge for a long time now. And interestingly enough, just a few hours later in the afternoon that same day, the whole monument, the Guidestones, were leveled by bulldozers and they are no more. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations is saying that they're still looking for a suspect. But what is the significance of these Georgia Guidestones? Because all of media has jumped on this worldwide talking about it, and maybe that is a good thing. So let's look a little bit into the history of the Georgia Guidestones if you don't know what they are. In 1979, there was a mysterious man who called himself R.C. Christian, who walked into a granite company in Georgia, just 90 miles east of Atlanta. It's basically the granite county there, or the granite capital of the world. And he had this project that he wanted to be built, the Georgia Guidestones. And when he presented this project to the company owner thought that it's so ludicrous that something like this would be built. So he completely put out a very, very huge quote. A lot of money, thought they're never going to go for it. But this mysterious man who called himself R.C. Christian agreed. And rumor has it that there was only one man in this whole project involved, a banker, that had found out who R.C. Christian really is. Now, that in itself, whatever, someone's putting up a monument. But this mysterious R.C. Christian guy also bought, I think, 5 acres where the monument was erected. And then there was a ceremony where, depending on who you trust with reports, 100 to 400 people attended. Now, what is it exactly? What does it say? What does it stand for? And why has it been at the center of so many conspiracy theories? The Georgia Guidestones have been put up there as sort of a compass, as sort of a guide for what they call the Age of Reason. Let's look at the capstone inscription, which says, "Let these be guidestones to an age of reason." And then in multiple languages, we have 10 commandments. And the languages that we can read the commandments in are English, Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Arabic, Hebrew, Hindi, Swahili, Babylonian cuneiform, Classical Greek, Egyptian hieroglyphics, and Sanskrit. So then follow the commandments, and I'm going to read them to you. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. We're going to dive into this one in just a minute. Second one, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Then unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Price truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth, and leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. So, on first glance, this sounds really good. I mean, a lot of these things are very logical. A lot of these things we believe are actually a good guidance for humanity. But it starts by something that is never a good sign. It starts in secrecy. It's been reported that this group of people that have commissioned the Guidestones and have paid for it and erected it and all that stuff, that they've been working on it for 20 years. So why don't they come out in the open? Also, who exactly are they guiding? Are they guiding you and me, the common people? Are these supposed to be guidelines for humanity to live by? Or is it guidelines for rulers? And if so, who are the rulers? So, because whom are you telling to maintain the population under 500 million? Who would have the authority to do this? We're all under the impression that things like population and how it expands and how it gets even extinguished is a cycle of nature. So how would you and who would have the possibility to control population growth and population expansion worldwide? And I think this has been the single largest alarm bell for so many people out there, that someone is telling basically the world to get rid of 7 billion, 7.5 billion people, right? How do you do that? What kind of event would you have to produce? Now, looking back at the past 2.5 years and looking back at everything that we learned about our world and how it is being run and controlled, now we see mechanisms in place that would be able to achieve this, right? I mean, from sickness to warfare to mysterious infertility, mass infertility events, all of these things, we now see these happening. So obviously, someone either projected their plans with the Georgia Guidestones or someone followed those plans. The truth is that what is hidden in secrecy and what springs from secrecy usually isn't for the benefit of all. And we're looking at a world today and at a world view today that is so distorted. We don't have the truth about anything. It's quite likely we don't even know how much land there really is. It's been all very much distorted, and we're just being sold a story. So when the Georgia Guidestones fell on July 6th, you had a lot of euphoria around the world. People commenting, people sharing, people saying, thank goodness. And a lot of people even call it satanic. Now, I wouldn't go as far as the rest of the commandments really aren't satanic in nature. They really make a whole lot of sense. We should live in harmony with nature. We should have good systems for all of us, We shouldn't have useless laws and useless officials. Yes, but who is the one who implements it? And once again, these Guidestones feel like a top-bottom monolithic power structure guideline. So once again, the old age idea that there should be this governing body or centralized governing body under one culture, one language that dictates to the rest of the world. And no, this is simply not the way. It is about individual consciousness, individual evolution, individual raising of vibration, individual. It is individuals that actually improve themselves and that actually raise their vibration, expand their consciousness, reignite that moral compass, reignite the connection with the Creator, that build a strong, a healthy, a natural, a harmonious collective on Earth. That's what we believe. So because of all the circumstances, we would say we're cheering with the world and saying, okay, it's a good thing that whoever created this never came out in the open, so it's time to tear this down. True principles of harmony, of love, of community, of family, of a peaceful co-creation and coexistence on this earth don't require secrecy. We're out in the open. We're talking about this, as are the great people who are actually applying themselves and actually working for peace and truth. So I put this all a little bit into a field of connection here. Let's connect the dots. Over the past days, all the things that have been happening, there's obviously a big momentum here. We have heard about this. Astrologers have said this is going to be a period of great upheaval, of great transformation, even of great chaos. And that's what we're kind of observing with gratitude, because it is happening, but we're also encouraging each and every one of you to seek peace, seek the connection with the Creator, go into prayer, go into meditation, balance yourself out, stay in harmony as much as you can, even if you go into these places of darkness where our light needs to shine the brightest. So we will see if this is the last chapter of the Georgia Guidestones. It is definitely not the last chapter of this war that we find ourselves in, but it does feel like a little win here, and sometimes we also need to celebrate those wins. More exposure. Now the world is learning about it. Mainstream media is covering this once again. These are all positive things and just helping with one more piece of the puzzle. All right, Inspire Tribe, let us know what you think about this down in the comments, what your take is on the Georgia Guidestones and on this mysterious July 6th day, which also, and I forgot to mention, was George Bush's birthday. Connections over connections here. Let us know what you think and what your take is. All right, Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll be back with you very, very soon.